RTD Live Talk. We're live. More so RTD Chat, rather. I wasn't able to get to my regular live stream, so I figured I would still get on for a quick minute, check in with everybody, and then also get your thoughts on the survey I put out there. And so hopefully everyone that's tuning in thus far had a chance to go to the community page and check out that survey that I posted earlier. I think it was about 3 or 4 hours ago. Just a thought came to mind. And so here we are now. Things are ramping up more so than ever. Venezuela's doing military drills and whatnot. And so there's a big push to get aid into the country. And Maduro is holding up at the border. And so it looks like that Juan Guaido guy is trying to really push to get the government, U.S. aid into the country. And so he put a date out there saying that by February 23rd, those trucks that are outside will come into the country, supplying food and whatever else is in those containers. And so that led me to just wonder, okay, here we are now. And I also watched a speech from Marco Rubio earlier, about a 39-minute video of him basically just saying that it's too late to turn back now. And he said, basically, as of now, Maduro has to go. And he hinted at, if I'm not mistaken, something about he has to leave or he's not going to make it up out of there was the only two options that it looked like Marco Rubio or the U.S. government will give Maduro. And so, of course, that's not going to be pleasant. But the question for those that had a chance to take it was, if the government was really interested in finding out what the people thought about this, as I mentioned, weeks and weeks and months ago, why not ask the public directly? Should the U.S. intervene in the foreign affairs of another country? And so even watching a little bit more of the Marco Rubio speech just a moment ago, he hinted at the U.S. has the right to go anywhere in the world and to get involved with or intervene in the affairs of a nation if it does two things. If it threatens the national interest, the national security, if it threatens the national security of the United States of America, or if it harms American citizens. And so based upon those two statutes or mandates that Marco Rubio believes that our government has entitlement to utilize, that's why and how I guess we can go and intervene in Venezuela if you really believe that. But of course, if you've been following the channel for a while, that's not the main narrative. That's not why they're there. They don't care about people starving. They've been starving for 4 or 5 years now. And all of a sudden it's a need to get humanitarian aid in there. But before I go down that rabbit hole, as always, from the survey, if you have not, feel free to leave this chat, go to the community page, take the survey. It's a yay or nay question. So I'll actually repeat it for you again. I'll pull it up here. So the question was, and I presented it from the idea if we were actually given a choice in the way that it's more than possible nowadays. It's easy and convenient from our cell phone. So say, for example, just hypothetically, if we were all asked to vote as to whether or not the U.S. should get involved or not via text phone, via your cell phone. And so the tally, everyone who had a registered cell phone, U.S. citizen, whatever, yay or nay. Should the U.S. intervene in the electoral process, announcing or denouncing any presidential candidate in the country of the Bolivarian sovereignty of Venezuela? And so I want to talk about the results because, as you probably saw from this thumbnail, I was assuming that there's going to be an overwhelming no as far as no intervention, but I wasn't surprised that there were a couple yays. And so the yays is what I want to talk to tonight. If you are out there, if you click yay in reference to yes, the U.S. should intervene, you're the one I want to talk to tonight. And so out of curiosity, I want to hear your thoughts, hear your viewpoints as to why the U.S. should intervene. And so I think out of, say, possibly, let me see how many people actually voted. And so out of close to 100 people, 5 or so said yes. And so I'm curious to find out why. So I'm going to focus on those that said yes. And as always, I'm not going to neglect those that said nay as well. But I think it's very interesting to find out what the people who actually say yay refer to, what they mean. Why should the U.S. get involved? What will be accomplished by going there? And if we do go there, if we actually put U.S. boots on the ground in Venezuela, as some people mentioned from the comments that I'll read through in a minute, like always, wherever we go, we never leave. We set up shop there and we run things and we basically destroy places. Wherever we go, we destroy things. Nothing is left better after we leave than prior to us getting there. So That's what we're going to cover tonight briefly. So let me actually pull the survey up. I'm going to refresh it and see if we have any new votes. And so it looks like, let me get this tally right. So it looks like we have now 102 votes, of which out of the 102 votes, 6 say, yes, we should intervene. And then 94 says no. And we have 23 comments. So I'm going to thumb through those comments. But as always, let me check in with the chat and see who's tuning in, and might have a couple people chiming in now. So let me see. Let me scroll to the very bottom. Clint, how you doing, my friend? Welcome. Cynthia, welcome to the stream. Bruce, I'm doing good, Bruce. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. Clint Eastwood, yeah, it says time for rethinking the dollar. Faith. Crypto Greece. Yay, well, made it in the aid, guns packed inside. Low blood pressure, that's another thing. You know, Juan Guaido's insisting on this aid comes through, but Maduro says that it's not really food, it's ammunition and weaponry for the revolution that the U.S. or coup d'etat that the U.S. is trying to promote. So inspection of the containers might be ideal, but I'd be willing to bet that if China or Russia requested that they come and assist in the what I'm saying, as far as looking into those containers, I would imagine the U.S. would say, no, we don't want nothing to not do with that. Either let the containers in or no type of thing. They will not let you inspect those containers, because I would believe there's some things in there that doesn't have to do with nutrition and vitamins and aid. Because why isn't the USA saying Macron has to go and appoint a Frenchman who went to George Washington? Low blood pressure. Good point. And so that just goes to show how much of a charade this whole situation is. Here we got France every week, every weekend. We got thousands of French in the streets rioting and all types of stuff, pointing a finger at the government in France. And yet here we are in the U.S. We're not concerned with the fact that those people over there are basically tearing up a historical and very rich country because they're disappointed with their government. So how come we don't go over there and remove him or something like that? So yeah, good point. This is going to show that there's always ulterior motives to all this. And of course, the whole idea that now Maduro has to go, humanitarian aid, it's time for the U.S. to step in and help out, all that good crap. We all know where that's going. Says, I think we need to mind our own business for a change. I agree 100%. Says, CIA has assassinated and killed lots of presidents and politicians except the drug lords. Hero 117. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's how we seem to bully the world, utilizing those agencies, I believe. It says, let's worry about it, debt instead. Crypto Greece. Now, you know, we're not supposed to talk about debt. The American public not supposed to know that the debt is not payable and that their livelihoods and their financial futures are tied into those notes. We're not supposed to talk about that. It says the U.S. corporation want that oil. They don't care about anyone starving. No. Jackie, 100. I agree. So I want to talk to my people who took the survey. And so who took the survey and actually said yes in regards to us going in. I'm trying to understand, and I'm just open to hearing some thought on why that should be. You know, why, anybody out there believe that it'd be in our best interest or in the best interest of the Venezuelan people to go in there, because we're going in there based upon what's currently happening now to remove someone, elected or not. That's a Venezuelan issue. It's not an American issue or United States of American issue. But as I always mentioned before, it'd be much bigger than that. It has a lot to do with how the natural resources there. But more importantly, Maduro, in my opinion, signed his death certificate back in the fall when he said the dollar will no longer be utilized in any of our exchanges. We will no longer price our wealth in dollars terms. And all the exchanges, all the markets down there, the dollar sign was removed, and it became the yuan, renminbi, the euro, the ruble, I think. So it was 3 or 4 currencies that were replaced ahead of the dollar as the dollar was removed off exchanges. And when he did that, I knew that was all she wrote. It says, has not attacked us. Bruce McGrew, very true. But as I just mentioned, if you YouTube, type in Marco Rubio discusses Venezuela, it was actually today, I think, 39-minute speech. He laid out the whole scenario as to why it's too late to turn back, because all this it's become prime subject. It's become spotlight on every news channel now, even though when you have more corporate mainstream media sources talking about how bad it is in Venezuela. Like there's this one Fox News reporter. I can't think of her name, but I've actually caught her a couple times, and she's bought on. So I mean, she's reading off a teleprompter, of course, so you can tell it was all written. But yeah, she's doing it with fiery emotion, saying that she's basically everything is regime or dictator when it comes to anything happening down in that region. And when I saw her, I'm thinking like, man, like it's clear as day that guy has a mark. He has a mark on his head, because when we got mainstream news anchor women who don't know nothing about anything out this country, in my opinion, reading off a teleprompter with emotion and like she really know what's going on, I'm like, man, yeah, this guy's in trouble. There's no way he's getting out of this on a good note. But so that's kind of what's happening, man. But where are my people at that voted yay? So the question was, should the U.S. intervene in regards to going there, supporting or denouncing a electoral process like we're doing now, yay or nay? And so out of 100 and so questions posted, within the last 3 hours, 94% says no, but 6% says yes. And so I'm just curious to find out exactly some of the stances, some of the arguments, some of the viewpoints of those that said yay. So actually, I'm about to got my computer right here. So I'm about to thumb through some of the comments, because I asked people to leave a comment based upon what your thoughts were. So I'm going to just thumb through those real quickly and see if any of the yay people probably put something down there that we can work with. And so on average, most people, looks like it says none of our business. And I'll actually give shout outs to whoever. So Shaman Hunter Gatherer says, America comes to doorstep with weapons and ammo, takes out the leader, leaves and blames it on ISIS. LOL. That's one thing history doesn't lie. It said we got Goat Gal number 7 says, none of my business what the people of Venezuela does in Venezuela. If they decide to rebel against the government or not, that's not my choice. And so 9 people gave that a thumbs up. Then we got Shay Guns. Says no different than Iraq, Libya, etc. It's meddling and bullying by government and corporations, 100%. And then we got Kai Kanoka, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It says, I am down to take the poll, but having some factual, objective data and history on the players involved, their motivations and what they control. The communication networks, namely, is the example. Okay, that's kind of long. And so it looks like most of the people said none of our business. We don't have a house, and we don't have our own house in order. Mind your own business. I hate it when U.S. needs to stay out. So it looks like majority of the public would probably vote nay if there was a survey given. And so I believe it'd be a noble idea. It'd be a great idea for the American people to petition. If we came together and petition this next upcoming primary / presidential election, 2020-ish timeframe, of course, well before then, but come together and basically say that times are changing. We no longer really truly need a representative solely to represent the people when we have so much great technology that we can use that can get people's opinions and voices heard faster. And so I think, and of course, I'm just one individual with this thought, let me know if you guys agree or whatnot. But if we were to actually utilize the technology we have, every U.S. citizen and illegal immigrant all have cell phones. I believe we are capable now of basically having opportunities to vote from our phone. Now, apart from having carriers that will probably be corrupted and tainted, but we don't really need Marco Rubio's, Nancy Pelosi, all these people out here who really don't speak on the best interests of the public in general. Because I would imagine this is just a small survey with 100 people in it. And so 100 people is not enough to really give a broad viewpoint of the American viewpoint. But I would believe that if people were presented with the entire picture of what's happening down in Venezuela, more people will probably say nay or no in reference to us being involved. And so with Marco Rubio, as I mentioned from that speech earlier, he gave 2 primary reasons as to why the U.S. has the right to go anywhere in the world and do whatever they want if it impacts our national security. Now, the question would be, what does national security mean now? Because if you look at our track record, the last 20 years, we've been in various countries for our security reasons. And apart from these fictitious unions and terrorist cells that we are also, funding with, as far as them being opposition party members, that we are also, involved in terrorism too. where does all this end? How does all this end? And so to go on even further, if you guys don't mind, I was thinking about how one of the reasons why Venezuela is in the bad shape that it's in is because of American intervention as far as their economy. Having posed sanctions on that country for the last several years, I'm not sure actually how long the sanctions have gone back time-wise, but I heard or read a report I mentioned about the billions of dollars that's been lost in revenue because of commerce not being able to flow normally because they can't do business with certain nations. So they're basically they're being ostracized from the world economically, which gives them very limited opportunities to actually do business. And so if you can't do business, you can't let your goods and services go at a fair rate, a fair price with competitive prices, then you're limited there, which means that you have to then borrow more. So if you have to borrow more to keep things afloat, debt has to go up. And then you get factor in corruption there. We all know that big business is heavily there. The oil, all the natural wealth there is being stolen everywhere, even here in the US. And so you factor in the sanctions that's been placed on the Venezuelan country plays into starving the people. And so just sending humanitarian aid is not going to really do anything. You send 10 trucks in with food, that's going to feed a couple thousand, but you have millions of people being impacted, not because of them having lack of food. There's food in the country. They live off the coast. They can fish. There's agriculture there. So they still have food, but the economy, the currency, everything, the lifeline of their country, which is their currency, is gone. And so if they can't do business with a viable currency, they can't do business outside with anybody either, because who wants a bolivar? Who wants anything other than gold? So that's going to be a big fight in the days ahead. But I say all that to mention that the way the U.S. is passing sanctions on every country that doesn't play by our rules, it's going to come back and bite us in the butt. And I want to say that because I was thinking about, by us now bullying everybody in our own best interest, national security interest or whatever, pretty soon the world is going to pass sanctions on us. And so what I mean by passing sanctions on us, rather, is that it's my opinion that the One Belt, One Road initiative, which is underway right now. And so I follow some channels that stay up to date on what's happening along that strip of that imaginary road that goes from the east to west of Europe to Asia. And that's well underway, but it's not being covered mainstream wise. And so that right there will ostracize the U.S. from any trade in that region, because they're not going to accept dollars. So the ultimate sanction that will be imposed upon us in the next 5 to 10 years, I believe, will be the lack of demand or usage of the Federal Reserve note in global trade. And that will be the ultimate sanction that will hinder our economy here, as well as hurt every single person that's listening to my voice that still believes in this current paradigm of an economy that is shifting right before our eyes. And so when sanctions come our way, it's going to be imposed by the world, by all those sovereign governments that are allies of Russia, China, and India, and all those that are partaking in the One Belt, One Road initiative. Those nations, when they officially sanction us, they're going to sanction us by removing the Federal Reserve note from their payment systems, their payment methods, their economy altogether. And then when that happens, we all know what that spells, the kind of trouble that spells. It says Saddam Hussein rethinking the dollar paid ultimate price. Ruling class does not want organized groups of people. They prefer disorganized, hectic populations they can control. Very true. It says, of course, the Fed is behind this, no doubt, and use their money to subvert society. It says we should not be living the way we are. I agree 100%. We are, that's the thing. Like, that's one of the things where, while all this stuff is happening around us, we are in a very unique position because we're very blessed and fortunate to have the world reserve currency still. Because I believe that in the next decade, we won't have the same level of luxury lifestyles that we're living now. So, take advantage of everything you can, man. Enjoy this period that we have now, because one day, I can say that it probably won't be the same. It says we should have a blockchain government by consensus. McLovin, the Irish R&B singer. I agree, my friend. And so that's what I hinted at earlier about the survey. The question was posed with our cell phones. If we were able to receive a text, a general question, should the U.S. intervene, yay or nay? Majority of people say no. Why? Because it costs. But yet we all know this thing operates and it stays afloat because of that. But once again, with all the issues we have here, it's more diversions that keeps Americans' attention from the real issues here, which happens to be with our own debt issues, with our own governmental structure, and this wall situation. And we are a couple days away from actually probably having another shutdown, people. And this shutdown will probably be different than this past month, because I would imagine, and this is just me talking now, I would imagine that both sides of the aisle will probably really try to see how long they can stretch this thing out in regards to playing hardball. Trump's not going to give up. The other side of the aisle, the socialist liberal, the socialist Democratic Party, they're not going to give up either. And so it's going to be, this next shutdown could be a long, drawn out process where, imagine all the government workers who just went back to work. I would imagine if I was a government worker and I just went back to work and I was told that I got 3 weeks for them to come up with some type of agreement, or we could be shut down again, you better believe for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I would have been putting my resume in somewhere else so that I can have an option and not have to be forced to go back. And so, Tony, no notice. I apologize, man. This was a last minute late night stream. I was well behind the day. I was actually supposed to have a guest join us. So for those that are tuning in now, tomorrow night, David Modell from Portfolio West Global is joining us. He's supposed to be on here tonight, but I was behind schedule. So yeah. But anyway, so you're here though, my friend. Appreciate you coming. So the question was the survey. Did you get a chance to take the survey about should we, yay or nay, intervene in the presidential process, denouncing or promoting any particular candidate or president down there? And if we, and so out of 100 or so people that responded, 5 people said we should intervene. And so I'm trying to see if any of those people who clicked yay are on here this evening, because I would love to find out exactly why, what their thought process is as far as actually intervening. And so let me check the vote count, see if anybody added any more votes. And so we are at, what was the tally? So we're at 106 votes. And so it's going up now. So it's 6%. So more people. So a couple more people say yay. So where are they at? Where are the yay people at? It says guns and butter. I know we seem to keep missing each other. Yeah, man. I'm trying to find my yay people. Can somebody go make a call and find the yay people? I disagree. Core of 3243, you disagree. Let me know about what. Are you one of the nay or the yay individuals? Mainstream media talking about China gold hoard. Yeah, man. So that plays into that whole the sanctions that's going to be passed on us by the world pretty soon. Because I was talking about, Tony, before you got here, probably about how our intervention has already been problematic, because just passing sanctions alone has disrupted their entire trade, all their economic dealings down there, which played into, along with corruption, everything they're experiencing now. So just sending a couple trucks of food is not going to help. So they're going to send $1 back home, Zimbabwe. Yeah, we're just going to use one form of crypto. And what form would that be? The Black Cyber Network. ADOS needs to buy land in Africa, much resources. We are more welcome than you think. Pan-African Black Cyber Network. Yeah, man. I think I glanced at your YouTube channel. I believe I did. Interested in finding out more about the continent of Africa. I've never gone. Do plan on going one day. Low blood, the new green steel. You know what? Low blood pressure, that's one thing I have not really looked into as of late. I need to get up on that. I got a Zimbabwe note, $150 trillion. Bruce, I got all their notes. I love collecting old archaic artifacts, such as currencies. So I don't agree, Tony. I think he's waiting and holding his cards close to his chest. Can't buy a stick and bubble gum with it. Yeah, I'm sure you probably paid a hefty penny for it on eBay or something. So whoever sold on eBay made out like a fat cat, I'm sure. So I'm looking for my yay people. That's what I want to talk to. Where's all my yay people? The people who said that, yes, we should intervene. Unfortunately, it looks like I may not have anybody on here tonight. But on the chat, if you end up watching this after the fact, in the chat, leave a comment down below. I would love to hear some responses as to why we should intervene, just because, I'm open to hearing other sides of the story as well. Says, did you see the article about the crypto dude from Canada that died with 250 million tied up in his laptop? Marquise, I think I heard about something in Canada for 190 million, of which the government or somebody is going to pay something back or whatever. Didn't really dive much into it, but it was 250 million tied up in his laptop. So is that the actual gentleman who ran the exchange that the guy died? That's tragic. So it's clearly a situation where the proof of keys aspect didn't apply to the Canadians, it looks like, because why would someone be holding that much coins, especially if they don't belong to him? So Corv, he says, I'm a nay, but I understand why they say yes. So feel free to chime in. Let me know why yes. Just one or two thoughts as to yes would be good enough. I'm just curious. U.S. should intervene. Legendary Lou. Intervene to do what? What does intervention actually accomplish? Because we know that we're going there not in the best interest of the Venezuelan people, but in our own best interest as far as their wealth, their resources, and basically reestablishing trade from utilizing our big corporations to go there and drain their country. And so why intervene as of now? Because we could have done that years ago. They've been in a crisis type of situation for years now. Why all of a sudden now? Could it have anything to do with the idea that they no longer use the dollar in trade there or price their own oil in dollars anymore? Could that be a reason why? It says, from a military standpoint, it says, no, we should stay out of Venezuela because they are not our children. We are not their parents of the world. That is a terrorist mindset. I hear you, my friend. Intervention is not for the American people. It's for the Israeli Zionists. At the end of the day, that could be behind it. And so in reference to that statement there, it'll probably be the big corporations that are probably majority owned by that particular group of individuals. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, yeah, but I just say, and once again, this is not like a racist or, whatever type of statement, but, the central banking model, the founders of the central banking model are Jewish. So they are heavily linked and tied into our entire economic system. They're probably the majority shareholders of all the biggest companies on this planet. So everything, it pretty much runs through that particular race there. So that's just how things always will be. That they're that's just how it's going to be. And unfortunately, they own our political figures. So that's never a win-win for the public. It says, Indy's still cold. Valero oil, we need it. Yeah, we need, yeah. But yet, once again, let's just be upfront honest. Say we're going there because we want the wealth. We want their oil. Because at the end of the day, you can come up with all these lies that nobody believes, or you can tell the truth. We're going there to remove Maduro because, we want their oil. And at the end of the day, everyone who's in the know that's why they're going there. So why they got to play the whole play? Why they got to, hell, at this point, as I mentioned, the world's already turned their back against us. So we ain't got to we no longer have to lie about anything. We can be upfront and honest because all governments know what's going on. That's why, they had, what did he say? I think Marco Rubio said it's 50 countries now that backs the U.S. in relation to recognizing Juan Guaido as the president, and there's 5 countries that don't. And all 5 of those countries are the ones that are already preparing for life after the Federal Reserve note. And so, is that any coincidence? Of course not. He says, I'm about ready to start. Faith, don't do that. What does a sovereign state mean? Marquise, 100%. So what does that mean now? It means absolutely nothing when we have Marco Rubio doing a press conference mentioning that the U.S. has the right to go into any country they want if it is involved with 2 factors. He said if it threatens our national security, so that's more of a question we all need to come to a better understanding of, because what does our national security mean? Because I don't feel threatened by Venezuelan people at all. I don't feel threatened by Syrians or either. I really don't. I believe that at the end of the day, majority of those people are really nice people. They're just trying to live, make a living for themselves, raise their kids, and enjoy life. But we all know that it goes a lot deeper than that, because we always have to have an enemy. We always have to have a war. That's just how things go. To admit that me admitting all wars are bank started. Yeah, but here's the thing with that. More people are waking up now to the realization that we've all been lied to. I think more people, especially by the end of this year, I got a good feeling that by the end of this year, there's going to be more people that have awakened from the matrix as far as no longer believing what they've been told because they're going to feel some things. Starting with, we're, second month of the year. There's already more than enough corporations that's doing some restructuring. And then you got the markets, all that, if you pay attention to the price of markets and all that stuff like that stuff fluctuates. And yeah. And then if you want to take it even further, Vanguard, one of the biggest money financial institutions of retirement wise anyway, one of their head people came out and said that they expect equities, U.S. equities, to be somewhat in the bear market for quite a few years, returning roughly 4 to 5%. And so if that type of investment there is returning 4 to 5% on average, and they're telling people that their portfolios is going to get 7, 8, 6, that's a 2-3% gap there that a lot of people who got their funds tied up in that old archaic stuff, man, they're going to really be very mad. So all that right there could be happening this year. So those are all things that's interconnected to this big soap opera that we're in right now. It says, heck, my friend is about to retire and move to Venezuela. Dusty Rose, really? So I assume your friend, is he Venezuelan or is he another native of another country? Because if you're a U.S. citizen, it's not easy to get there because I've tried. Let's not forget them dropping the dollar for trade. Wait, yep, I mentioned that one. Says, Pat, that is not completely true. His wife is Venezuelan. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Like me personally, I'm not really, I also believe that when you're there on the ground, it's a much different story. Of course, you see the obvious, but yet the mainstream media does a good job of shining light on pockets of crowds and people and protests on that side of town. But, Caracas is a really, really big city. And so definitely, I personally would love to go there again. And so I believe I will one day, but probably not until all this stuff unravels. It says not letting African countries develop space programs and putting puppets in position of power in foreign nations has kept America as top spot in evil. Yeah, yeah. The black cyber, man, that's very true. I think, and a lot of my prior guests has mentioned that the next wave of technological intervention or evolution rather will probably be spurred from the continent of Africa because of everyone, China, Russia, they're all racing there for the Belt and Road Initiative. So all that natural wealth and minerals will be factored into the supplies needed, the resources needed to bring goods and services along that One Belt and One Road Initiative, which is what ultimately this next decade is all heading towards. So that's another topic we won't hear about for quite a while, but yet it's underway. Brando said, I assume everything over. So Brando, you did not miss the survey results because as of a couple minutes ago, you still can go take it, sir. You still can go take it just because, but we're talking about it now. But when I came up with that question, I was pretty confident to say that it wasn't going to be overwhelmingly no. I was imagining that some people was going to say yay. I just didn't know how much or how many people would say yay. And so far out of 111 votes, 94% say nay and 6% says yay. So I'm trying to find the ones that say yay and just basically get some of their thoughts as to why. Because I'm not saying it's right or wrong. This is all opinion based anyway. I'm just curious to find out exactly what will be some of the benefits for us going in there that could actually help the Venezuelan people. Because at this current point, I don't really think that anything we can do apart from removing sanctions and just leaving them people alone could even come close to allowing them to get back to some type of normalcy down there, given how much damage we've done there. So it says 80% of coltan, a mineral needed to make all the technology in the world, comes from the Congo. Black Cyber Network, my friend, you know a lot about the continent. I appreciate you chiming in on that one. It says, Tony, when it's oil, those companies were nationalized. Chevron retained a partnership with Venezuela Oil. The intervention will give Chevron back control of the majority of the oil. Ooh, Pat. Okay, you're going deep on it. Largest amount of oil closest to us. Yeah. So why not just say we're going in for the oil? Hell, or we got to play the whole humanitarian, play the humanitarian card, play the spread democracy card. Like that card is getting old. Nobody in their right mind believes that card anymore. Nobody believes that at all. Private stores have much more food. Dusty Rose, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've seen documentaries where there's grocery stores down there with food. There's grocery stores down there with lots of food. In the rural areas where, more of the well, probably more so in the regions of the city that are low income / impoverished. Those are the ones we see primarily on the news of empty store shelves and all that type of stuff. So yeah, man, that's what it is, man. But no, I wanted to just log on tonight. Didn't get a chance to do my normal stream, and so I don't see any of my yay people outright. So if you happen to watch this after the fact, definitely leave a comment down below in reference to why you're yay for intervention, how that would help the Venezuelan people, if that's what you believe. And so other than that, be safe, be blessed, people. I just wanted to get on real quick. And tomorrow night, for those that are still here, David Modell from Portfolio Wealth Global will be joining us to talk about the dollar, metals, mining, you name it. He's well-versed in a variety of subjects. So I'm looking forward to picking his brain tomorrow. Had a great time when he was on the show last time. So definitely had to have him come back. And so we're going to keep that party going. More important, if you guys have enjoyed the back and forth, don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up. Show your boys some love and support. And also for anybody who's interested, feel free to go down below and find out more about the free resources there. And then also, for those, I want to give you guys a heads up for the RTD Gold team. I'm looking to position opportunities for anybody who wants to get involved with that and help people get their weight up in an automated sense. So I got a couple of things I'm going to roll out with that. And definitely as a contributing partner to invest in you, I'm going to be looking to give away some gold. So definitely, I've been playing with it a lot and got some gold in the mail, and so enjoying it. So I'm just educating myself as I get my weight up more digitally, as well as in the physical sense. So that being the case, be blessed, be safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. with David Modell joining us. Hope you guys are there with me. Come with some questions for this young man. He's a well-versed dude, and so I want to make sure you guys get your questions answered, because that's what this is all about. RT Live Talk.